when two players have played against each other for the highest title. And when they clash again, it's always exciting to watch them. In 2010, Veselin Topalov and Vishy Anand played the World Championship match against each other. And now, 12 years later in 2022, they once again met at the Norway Chess 2022 in round 2. An interesting fact is that Topalov has not beaten Anand since their World Championship match in any format. So it's been 12 years. The last time he won was in some game 8 or 9 in the World Championship match. So the Bulgarian was looking for his revenge here. He wanted to maybe beat Anand here. So the game started off with d4. Topalov's favorite move. Anand played d5, c4, Queen's Gambit, and Vishy took it. e4 played by Veselin. Always, his style is very, very aggressive, never backing down from a fight and going all the way. And Vishy here decided to play the very theoretical and topical line b5. Topalov, as he said in his post-game interview, he was not well versed with the theory here. a4 was played, c6, and now there are two ways to play. One is to take and put knight on c3, and another one is to directly play knight c3 as Topalov did in the game. Now, when you take and play knight c3, it's slightly different than normal because now b4 is not good because now there's no pawn on c6 to control this square, and after knight b5, white is actually winning, close to winning here. But here there are two interesting lines just to show you how rich this line is, and maybe you want to try it as black. a6 is one move. When you sacrifice an exchange and put your bishop here and win this pawn. So this is one thing you can prepare. The other one, which is getting very popular recently, is queen b6, allowing knight d5, queen b7, bishop f4, sacking a pawn, bishop here, knight d7, allowing knight c7. And this is crazy line. Okay, by the way, knight c7 is not the best move here. Maybe the best move is bishop f4, but this was seen recently in Aronian versus Nakamura versus Aronian at the FIDE Grand Prix. Okay, knight c3 was played by Topalov, and now Vishy here pushed his pawn. You basically all knight retreats are possible: knight b1, knight a2, and knight e2. Topalov chooses knight b1. Bishop a6 by Anand, defending his c4 pawn. Topalov attacks it again. And now if Topalov can win this pawn back, he would be clearly better. He has the center. Anand's pawns are weak. So queen d4 was played here. Knight to f3. And now in this position, Vishy went back queen d7. So now Anand is 2 pawns up, but Topalov wins back 1 pawn. And Vishy now took. e6 was played in this game, Aronian versus Vallejo in 2011, and that was won by Aronian. Bishop c4, queen c4, and after e6, you can already argue that although Anand is a pawn up, his position looks slightly difficult because look how white is playing. Bishop e3, good move. Knight f6, knight d2, bishop e7, castles. So white has finished his development. c6 pawn is slightly weak. This knight doesn't know where to go. c5 square is slightly weak. b4 pawn is a little bit advanced. So the squares here, the white knight can come to c4, maybe b3 to c5. It looks a little difficult here. But look at how Vishy tries to solve his problems. He pushes the pawn to c5 here. And maybe this is an inaccurate move. I think Anand might have miscalculated here. A better try could have been rook d8. But here's an instructive line. First, bishop c5. I take queen c5. Now I can take the pawn on e4. You can't take back because queen takes d1 is hanging. Now very interesting move, queen c2. Knight f6. You put your knight on e4. Queen e7. I take on d8. Queen d8. And now I take. And here, let's say for example, queen f6. Rook d1. And in a position like this, white is 2 pawns down, but black is not able to develop. So actually, white is the one who is pressing here. And maybe what you have to play is take with this pawn and then play something like this so that you can think about developing your knight to a6. So seeing all these variations, and maybe these are the things that run in your head that I need to get my pieces out, Vishy played the move c5 here. And now Topalov took here. And it was, I guess, a very, very brave move and also very well calculated. Topalov understood that Anand cannot win a piece after rook c8, which Vishy did. And Topalov now played knight to b3. Excellent move. Queen c7 by Anand. And now is the question for you, what would you play here as white? Your pieces may be hanging. What should you do? Well, when you think a little deeper, you will realize that even if it is black's move here, not white, then the piece is not hanging per se. I mean, I can play something like knight d7 and win a piece, but you can't win the piece directly, like take here, take here, take here, take here, because there is a back rank mate. So Topalov can actually use this time to solidify his position, and rook ac1 would be a massive mistake. If you played this move, that is wrong, because after knight d7, black wins the game. c5 is hanging now, back rank issues are gone, and it's over. Queen takes b4 is incorrect because of knight a6, and black wins. So the right move here, and there are a couple of them. One of them is knight e5. Very interesting move. If you take on e5, I take on e7. You can't take on c4 because d8 is mate. If you take on c5 first, then I would take with the queen. And this is playable, but Topalov played the best move here, queen b5. Kudos if you found this move, because once again the piece cannot be taken. And so Anand now played a6, pushing the queen away, but queen takes b4. Now knight a6 is no longer possible. So Vishy had to, from being a pawn up, he's now a pawn down, and he's fighting for compensation. Knight c6 attacks the queen, queen e1, rook a b8. And here I would like you to pause. Maybe not here. Maybe first he took. And now I would like you to pause your video and try to think, what should white play here? This was an important moment, and I think if Topalov would have realized it, he wouldn't have played as passively as he did in the game. The move here that I was looking for is rook ac1. Very difficult, right? You will think, oh my god, isn't the knight hanging here? Well, the point is that if you take rook takes b3, in comes knight d4. The knight is pinned, so you need to move back to b6, suppose, and I go a5, and I'm going to win material, and white is clearly better. Also, in this position, rook a c1 was possible with the same idea, because after rook takes b3, bishop e7, queen e7, knight d4, and white is better. In fact, if Topalov had played rook c1, Anand would have been quite in a difficult spot to figure what to do. And I think the best move here for black is to wait with h6. It's never easy when you're a pawn down. Okay, bishop e7, queen e7, knight fd2 played. Now Vishy gets his play rolling. He puts his queen on b4, queen e2, and now another nice move, knight d4. Trading knights, attacking b2. Yes, you can win this pawn here, but then the rook swoops into c2 when you go back. You can't yet take on b2 because of back rank issues, but first h6, very solid move, and black has enough play to maintain the balance here. b3 was played by Topalov here, and now Anand quickly found time to get rid of his back rank issues, and he's starting to threaten stuff like rook c2. And here I think it was important for Topalov to start with knight f3, and Vishy can't take e4 yet because queen a6, and even these pawns can get really dangerous, b3 and a4. But rook a2 was played in the game by Topalov, and here you can sense how Topalov got a bit ambitious. And I think it reminds us of the 2010 World Championship match, the final game, where Topalov thought that with white he should be able to beat Anand. Here he thought he has an advantage, so he's playing this way, but the position is slipping away. Also, there's an important factor that in the World Championship, if the scores are tied 6-6, they would go into the tie breaks, rapid tie breaks. and Topalov didn't want to play that against Anand. And once again here, if they tied, there would be an Armageddon where you play 10 versus 7 against some sort of rapid, which maybe Topalov didn't want to play. But as Topalov mentioned in his post-game interview, he was playing more for the reason that he thought he was better and he wanted to play for a win. But he's no longer better here after a5, h3, queen b4, queen e1. Now Vishy gets his rook in, rook b2, rook d8, and this was the last, I think, chance where Topalov could have kind of said, okay, fine, let's liquidate after rook c1 takes knight e4, and the position is equal. But he went rook d b1, and here's my question to you: what should Black play in this position? Black to move. I like the next move a lot. This is really nice. Okay, you can play an aggressive move like rook d4, but a better move here is knight to d7. Kudos if you found it. The knight is going to e5 and c5 and here. Now Topalov played queen e2. And here's a moment where you need to know the time control of this tournament. It's basically 2 hours each for both players for the entire game. And you get 10 seconds increment after move 40. But no time increment, only 10-second increment per move. And we are on move 30 and Topalov was down to like 4 minutes. So he had to make like 10 moves in the next 4 minutes without increment. And Vishy here started to play very smartly because he could have gone knight c5 here. But he saw that Topalov wants to play queen b5, and after takes, the queens would be traded. And although Black is still pressing here like knight b4, rook here, Black is still in the driver's seat after rook b8 and takes. He didn't want to make it easy because Topalov could make few moves very quickly. So Anand went rook b8, stopping queen b5. Topalov had to think. Anand then moved with his knight. Rook b1, good move. Rook d3. e5, again a good move by Topalov. Rook d5, knight c4. Finally giving up some material, but rook a1. I think Topalov navigated this phase very well. He came till move 36. The position is equal, but he lost on time here, making his next move. Queen d2 would have been the best. b3 and a5 would have liquidated, and the game would have most likely ended in a draw. Topalov made the move queen d6 and lost on time. This final position here is slightly tricky, mainly because there's a lot of space in White's position and there could be some tricks coming in. Objectively still equal, but at this point Vishy won on time, and this happens very rarely in classical tournaments, but Norway Chess has their own time control. I would say the organizers have been quite bold trying out new time controls here. We'll know how this works out at the end of the tournament, but clearly Topalov had forgotten that he didn't have to write moves at the end. He could have left it when he had 5 minutes left, but he kept writing and he lost on time. Another great win for Anand. And just to show you a few pictures from there.
16 is a powerful software where you can save your games and analyze them. You can also...
Yeah, so, sorry for that. I had it on and it just plays. Vishy Anand now leads the tournament with 6 points. Wesley So on 4.5, Anish Giri on 3, Magnus Carlsen on 2.5, Mamed Yarov on 2.5, and Anand has won both his games, first with MVL, then with Topalov. Magnus also lost his Armageddon game with Wesley, which is not very common. This is the look in the tournament hall, how it is in Stavanger, Norway. You can see here a lot of interest there. A lot of people have come. So that was the match. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what do you think about the time control in the tournament. Also, guys, a big news. Vishy Anand is back in top 10 in the world. He is with a rating of 2761. Now ranked number 9 in the world, which is a big result. I mean, a big thing. And Vishy, just amazing what he's achieving even now. I felt like in this entire trip, like Superbet and Norway, he will do okay. but the way he's performing, it's giving us all hopes that maybe there is more chess left in Anand and he will continue to play in the years to come. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.